Welcome to episode 6 of Fallen Phoenix Deep Dive. In this arc of rediscovery, doors once sealed swing open, revealing truths long buried. From the echoing halls of the tower to the quiet tension of the penthouse, new bonds form, old ones reignite, and the past finally begins to speak. This is where memory fractures, identity stirs, and a name once lost prepares to rise again. These are chapters 16 through 19.
Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Hello.
Today, we're plunging into a truly extraordinary journey, one where the very threads of fate seem to, unravel and then reweave themselves.
Right, where secrets are hidden not in some old book, but like right inside us.
Yeah.
In our essence.
Exactly. And where true identity, well, it seems it can defy even death itself.
It's a powerful concept, isn't it? This idea that your most fundamental self, maybe even, a lost love, could be encoded within you, just waiting
for the right moment or the right catalyst.
Yeah, for something to trigger its reemergence.
Yeah.
It suggests a destiny far more intricate, more biologically intertwined than we usually think about.
You've hit on something crucial there, and that's exactly what we're here to unpack. We're taking a deep dive into chapters 16 through 19 of Fallen Phoenix, Book 1 by WTP Markwalder.
And let me tell you, this section, it's an absolute game changer. Seriously, hidden truths revealed, characters sent spinning onto entirely new paths.
It's going to shake their world and their very identities right to the core.
So our mission, like always, is to pull out the most important bits of knowledge, the key insights from these chapters.
We want to help you quickly grasp the incredible shifts happening in this world with these characters, and maybe, just maybe, spark some aha moments for you along the way.
Because what we're exploring here is, well, it's basically a miracle wrapped in a mystery.
You've got a lost love, a hidden genetic secret deep inside someone's DNA, a controlled fracture of time itself.
And a reunion that spans centuries. Defies logic, really.
But, as you often find with these incredible rediscoveries, it comes with a huge challenge, a monumental and honestly quite dangerous task to restore what was truly lost.
So yeah, buckle up. This is going to be quite a ride.
Okay, let's kick this off with a blast from the past. Our dive begins in chapter 16, which the book titles The Pains of Marriage.
Which is kind of ironic because while Frank and Jane's strained relationship is definitely simmering in the background.
Oh, it's there. Agent Frank pops back in, reinforcing that tension.
Right. But the real core here is Agent Jane's deep moral quandary. And Phoenix making this incredibly bold, almost audacious move.
The chapter opens with Jane lying awake, right? She's wrestling with the Council's chilling decision about Project Extinguish Flame.
And that's a critical detail to grasp, especially if you're just joining us or maybe need a quick reminder. Project Extinguish Flame isn't just, let's go catch Phoenix.
No, it's way darker than that.
It's the Council's top secret plan to, permanently neutralize threats. And in this case, it's a direct kill order for Phoenix. They want him gone. Forever.
So think about Jane. She is supposed to execute this order, or at least be part of the team hunting him down with lethal intent.
But then you rewind to chapter 15. We saw Phoenix, this very outlaw, this target, unexpectedly save her life. Like, really save her life.
She was impaled, right? Badly hurt.
Severely.
Yeah.
Impaled by a piece of catwalk, bleeding out. And who saves her? Phoenix. The source describes this burst of warmth emitted from his hands into the wound.
Wow.
He doesn't just pull out the metal, he heals her. Almost instantly. It says pain rushed back to her and strength returned, washing over her body.
So the guy she's supposed to kill literally brings her back from the brink.
Exactly. That act of profound compassion from the person officially deemed her enemy, it completely messes with her head.
Yeah.
It creates this deep internal conflict. How could it not?
Yeah, it's a huge internal conflict. How does she reconcile that? She's an agent of the Tower, this ruthless organization built on order and control.
They don't do nuance. They don't do mercy, usually.
Yet her pragmatism and that deeply personal, life-saving experience, it forces her to question the Council's brutal orders. Does she follow blindly? Or does her own experience, her own, debt, matter more?
It really paints Phoenix in a complex light, too, doesn't it? He's not just the outlaw. He defies that simple label. He can be incredibly compassionate.
Which makes his next move even more stunning. He just appears, casually, in Jane's private quarters.
It's not just a physical intrusion. It's, like you said, a moral and psychological one, too. He just shows up.
How does he even do that?
And his confidence, it's striking. He doesn't sneak. He just appears, almost like he owns the place, or at least knows its secrets intimately.
Secrets of the tower systems? Or secrets about its agents?
Maybe both. He clearly understands Jane's conflicted state. He knows she owes him on some level.
And he leverages that, asking for access to his old room, this long sealed room deep within the tower.
Yeah, showing he knows these hidden passages, these forgotten corners. And he knows Jane is maybe pragmatic enough or indebted enough to help.
He even taunts her a bit, says something like, "You more than welcome to visit me while I am there. I know it must be killing you to find out what's in it."
Huh. Yeah, it's an invitation, but also a challenge, a subtle power play. He knows she's curious.
Yeah.
And she doesn't immediately shut him down, which is telling.
It sets the stage perfectly, doesn't it, for the real reason he's back in the tower.
It leads us right into this old sealed room. Jane, intrigued, maybe feeling that pull of curiosity Phoenix mentioned, follows him.
Deep into these abandoned corridors, forgotten parts of the tower.
They find the room, just marked Phoenix in bold red letters. But here's a detail: it covers a scratched out original name. Another hint of a buried past.
Ooh, interesting. And inside?
Barren, dusty, lit only by candles and a single glowing computer monitor. Which is weird because Phoenix explains the power's been cut to the entire corridor.
So where's the monitor getting power from, and why is it glowing? It sounds almost ethereal.
The whole old room feels symbolic, doesn't it? A forgotten past, a hidden secret, something the tower or maybe Phoenix himself tried to bury.
And his choice to revisit it now?
Right.
He's confronting something, reclaiming something.
Right, tying up loose ends, maybe? Retrieving a piece of his identity. The power cut emphasizes how isolated, how neglected this place is. A deliberate attempt to erase whatever was here.
But something survived.
Yeah.
Something is still active on that monitor.
You got it. From the seemingly dead monitor, a mass of light starts to coalesce. It takes shape.
And forms.
A new critical character.
Ollie.
Ollie. Okay, and who or what is Ollie? The source makes a big point about this, right? To avoid confusion. Yes, very clear. Ollie is revealed as the incarnation of Phoenix's computer's AI. But she's not just code anymore. She has synthesized herself a fully physical cell, that's CEL, for cellular, like flesh and blood body, using his DNA.
Wait, using his DNA? How?
That's the million-dollar question. The source says she stands 5 feet 8, has maroon wings, black hair streaked with red. She's physically present.
That's a monumental leap. AI building itself a biological body from genetic material, that's beyond anything we've seen in this world so far.
It completely redraws the lines for AI. She's not a clone, she's not his daughter. The clarification note is adamant. Ollie is not Phoenix's daughter or clone. She's a being with independent agency and awareness, created from his DNA through her own means.
Through her own means, that implies incredible intelligence, ingenuity, maybe even some kind of sentience we don't fully grasp yet.
Absolutely. It showcases her brilliance. She somehow utilized Phoenix's unique genetic material, which we later learn is incredibly complex and engineered life. Her own life.
And she's immediately protective, right? Sees Jane and draws a weapon.
Yeah, an unknown weapon. Shows she's thinking independently, assessing threats, not just following Phoenix's lead. He has to tell her, she's all right, Ollie. She's an old friend.
What does Ollie say to Phoenix?
Her greeting is interesting. Well, hello there, Phoenix. It's been a while since I've had the pleasure of you physically here. Confirms their long connection. Implies she's been aware, waiting.
Wow. So, a character deeply connected to Phoenix, but definitely her own person, not just a tool, an individual.
Precisely. And with Ollie now physically present, Phoenix's next move makes his intentions about dealing with his past shockingly clear.
He reveals the room is rigged to blow.
Yep. Self-destruct sequence initiated as soon as they leave. He warns Jane, gives her a head start.
And she runs like hell through those dark corridors.
As a deafening blast rips through the tower behind her, massive structural collapse, black flames surging after her. It's a literal closing of that chapter. Scorched earth.
But the flames, they don't hurt her.
That's the truly fascinating part. These black flames, presumably Phoenix's energy, don't harm Jane. Instead, they magically transform her singed nightgown.
Into what?
A sharp business suit. Her professional agent persona instantly restored.
Whoa, okay, that's bizarre, but symbolic.
Hugely symbolic. This isn't random destruction. It's Phoenix purposefully, controllably erasing that part of his past, sealing away that part of his past forever, as the source puts it, severing ties.
Making a statement. That life, that identity is over, gone.
And the transformation of Jane's clothes. It hints at the subtle, maybe even subconscious, influence of his powers. beyond just blowing things up.
Like his very essence can induce transformations, maybe foreshadowing something deeper about his connection to, well, to change itself.
Could be. It's a subtle but powerful detail. How much control does he really have, even indirectly?
And then, just to rub salt in the wound, Agent Frank shows up.
Ever the charmer. Sees Jane amidst the chaos and debris, dusts himself off and sneers, "My, how the mighty have fallen."
Confirms the explosion, confirms his disdain. Some things never change.
Nope. But Phoenix has changed things. He's obliterated a piece of his past, retrieved Ali, and is now moving forward.
Bringing Ali into his current life, which, as you said, is going to have immediate and intense repercussions. Especially for Anastasia.
Oh yeah, get ready for the emotional fireworks.
And what repercussions they are. Phoenix literally incinerated his past, right? Blew up his old room, severed those ties.
Fiery statement made, chapter closed.
But what happens when he brings this mysterious new being, Ali, directly into his current life, particularly for Anastasia?
That's where we plunge into chapter 17, titled Out of the Loop. And believe me, Anastasia is about to feel very, very out of it.
It starts with Phoenix arriving at the penthouse, carrying Ali.
Carrying her in his arms. That's the exact phrasing. And you can just imagine the visual. For Anastasia, who's just starting to feel like maybe, possibly, this is her home.
Yeah, seeing that must have been like a punch to the gut.
Instant, deep jealousy ignites. And the source is careful to point out, this isn't irrational jealousy.
Why not irrational?
Because she was just settling in, finding her feet after being thrown into this completely bizarre new reality.
Yeah.
And then Phoenix walks in, carrying another female, casually introducing her as his computer.
His computer. Seriously.
That's how he puts it initially. It directly mirrors how Anastasia was brought into the penthouse, kind of unceremoniously dropped into the middle of things. It triggers that feeling of displacement all over again.
So she feels like, wait, am I being replaced or just completely sidelined?
Exactly. She feels totally out of the loop, isolated, and she lashes out. Understandably, I think. She confronts Phoenix, asks point blank, "I didn't ask what she was holding, I asked who she was."
Good for her, standing up for herself.
It shows her vulnerability, though, too. Her growing attachment to Phoenix, her struggle to figure out her place in this weird, unpredictable world. It's a very human reaction in a totally non-human situation.
You can just feel her frustration boiling over when she yells, "Why is it I am always the last one to find out about anything around here?"
And Phoenix.
Oh,
Phoenix. His reply is just peak Phoenix, isn't it?
What does he say? Something cryptic.
Pretty much. Ask more questions, you get more answers. Helpful, right?
Not helpful at all, especially not in that moment.
Meanwhile, you have Rachel. The steadying force, the emotional pillar we've seen her become.
How does she react to Ali?
Total contrast to Anastasia. She greets Ali warmly, gives her a hug, even reminisces, says something like, "It's been a long time, Ali."
So Rachel knew Ali before, from Phoenix's past.
Apparently so. It emphasizes Rachel's role as that grounding presence in Phoenix's chaotic life, and it adds another layer to that found family dynamic they have. Ali isn't a complete stranger to everyone.
Okay, that's interesting. So Rachel provides some stability, but Anastasia is still reeling.
She is. But Phoenix, maybe surprisingly, seems to sense her distress. He sees her need for belonging, for her own space.
And he actually does something about it.
He does. He uses his powers, projects this amazing holographic floor plan of the penthouse right there in the air.
Like Minority Report style.
Kind of.
Yeah.
A large square of orange lines formed in the air reflecting the floor plan. And he offers her any of the empty rooms. Gives her agency, a choice in a world where she hasn't had much.
Where does she choose?
This is significant. She deliberately picks a space between his bedroom and his studio. Close, but distinct. Her own territory, but near his center of activity.
That feels like a big step for her, claiming her space.
It's a crucial turning point. A real act of affirmation from Phoenix, allowing her to gain confidence and identity. And then he, or rather Ali, using her detailed memory access, magically manifests the room.
Manifests it how?
Replicates her old room.
Yeah.
From before all this happened, down to the smallest detail. Instant comfort, familiarity in this alien environment.
Wow. That's actually incredibly thoughtful, considering everything.
It really is. She's ecstatic. Says he made it look just like my old room. It's a profound act of care, trying to provide stability amidst the chaos.
And her choosing that spot near his studio, maybe an unconscious desire for closeness, even as she's staking her claim.
Very possible. She's literally carving out her space in his life and his home. It's a huge step towards her feeling less like a guest and more like, well, part of whatever this group is.
So Anastasia gets her room, a piece of her past restored, a bit of grounding.
Right, but while she's settling in, feeling that crucial sense of self returning, Ollie hasn't been idle.
What's Ollie been up to?
She's already diving deep, unraveling a much bigger mystery, something hidden within Phoenix himself.
Okay, here we go.
Ollie pulls Phoenix into her new room, the one she set up for her work, to show him something groundbreaking. She's managed to hack into the tower's computers.
The tower's highly secure systems, Ollie just waltzes in.
Apparently,
Yeah.
speaks volumes about her capabilities, right?
Yeah.
Reinforces her role as this brilliant researcher. She got a copy of the blood sample taken from Phoenix way back in Chapter 6 during his capture.
And what does she find in his blood?
She shows him holograms, one of the normal DNA strand, the familiar double helix.
Yeah.
And then Phoenix's DNA.
Which is?
Incredibly complex. The source describes it like a pipe made up of spheres varying in size. And Ollie explains it changes randomly several times throughout the day.
Changes randomly, like morphs.
Seems like it. Which, she explains, is why it resists cloning. It's too unstable, too dynamic, defies normal biology.
Okay, weird DNA. Got it. But that's not the big reveal, is it?
Not even close. Here's the kicker. Ollie reveals that Phoenix's DNA contains half of a second being mixed into it.
Half of a second being, what does that even mean?
A fragment. A partial genetic code of someone else. Specifically, she says, a female fragment. It's incomplete, not strong enough to physically manifest any trace in Phoenix himself, but it's there, woven into his very essence.
Whoa, so there's someone else's DNA inside him.
A part of it, yes. And Ollie projects a life-size hologram of what this partial female being would look like if the DNA were complete.
And Phoenix?
He stares at it, finds it so familiar, but he just can't place it. He struggles, saying, "It looks so familiar, I just can't place it."
No, the agony. He knows it, but the memory isn't there.
Exactly. This is the narrative's central mystery, the core theme kicking into high gear. Identity, destiny, connection. It's all tangled up in this genetic code.
Ali, the researcher, bridge builder, and truth revealer, as the source calls her, she found the clue.
She did. And the visual contrast is key. The normal DNA, then this partial, super complex female strand, described as 4 times as complex as the normal strand, but compared to Phoenix's, it was only half completed.
Half completed, like it's missing its other half, which is maybe Phoenix's own DNA.
That's the implication hanging in the air, a profound, almost mystical discovery. A shared destiny encoded in biology. It challenges everything we think about identity.
And Phoenix's inability to recognize her immediately, despite the familiarity, it speaks to deeply suppressed memories, doesn't it? Trauma, loss.
Almost certainly, it builds incredible suspense. We, the listeners, are right there with him, staring at this ghostly image, wondering, who is she?
And it sets the stage perfectly for the pivotal moment, the real aha that's about to drop. The final piece of the puzzle. Okay, so Phoenix is staring at this hologram, this image of a partial female being encoded in his DNA, feeling this intense familiarity but unable to place it. The tension is palpable.
He's right on the edge of a massive realization, but he can't quite make the connection.
Which brings us to chapter 18, aptly titled Fracturing Time. This is it. This is where everything snaps into focus thanks to, well, fate. Or maybe just incredible, perfectly timed coincidence.
Or maybe something more deliberate, orchestrated by forces unseen. Who knows in this world? But yeah, the timing is impeccable.
Phoenix is still intensely focused on that enigmatic hologram in Ollie's room, racking his brain, when at that exact moment,
Anastasia walks in.
just walks into Ollie's room. Why?
You're called him for dinner. Totally mundane reason for entering, right?
Yeah.
But the consequence is anything but mundane.
What happened?
She unknowingly passes directly through the life-size hologram.
No way.
Yes way. And her physical presence instantly completes it, fills in all the blanks and holes in the projection. The hologram becomes a perfect, clear image of Anastasia.
Oh my god, it is her! The missing piece was literally her, standing right there.
Phoenix's reaction is immediate, stunned realization. The source says, the chair fell over as Phoenix rapidly stood. He just looked at her, looked at the completed hologram, and blurts out, "It's you."
Wow.
Yeah.
Just, wow, that's the ultimate aha moment, isn't it?
Absolutely climactic. It confirms this incredible, almost unbelievable connection between Anastasia and that hidden DNA fragment inside Phoenix.
It reinforces that whole idea of fate, of destiny. Like her showing up in his life wasn't random at all. She was the missing piece he didn't even know he was looking for.
Exactly. It shifts the whole thing from a fascinating scientific discovery to something deeply personal, deeply emotional for Phoenix. He hasn't just found a genetic anomaly. He's potentially found Well, everything he lost.
Ugh. And poor Anastasia. What's her reaction to Phoenix suddenly leaping up and shouting, "It's you"?
Utter confusion. She's just like, it's me what? Ollie knew what? Will somebody fill me in, please? Still feeling out of the loop, even as she becomes the center of the entire universe, basically.
That adds such a touch of relatable humor, doesn't it? Amidst this profound, world-altering revelation, she's just annoyed she missed the memo again.
Totally. But for Phoenix, this changes everything. This sudden realization compels him to act immediately, unconventionally. He needs proof, solid proof.
He needs to confirm it's not just a projection glitch or wishful thinking.
Precisely. Driven by this urgent need to verify this astounding discovery, he does something extraordinary. He fractures time.
Fractures time, like stops it, bends it.
The description is amazing. The living room fractured out from around Phoenix and Ollie. Thousands of triangular patterns of the room moved out around them. The separate pieces vibrated, attempting to collapse back together. It's like reality shatters into geometric pieces around them.
And Anastasia, is she frozen?
Yep. Unanimated, stuck in the moment, poised mid-action, completely unaware, like a statue in this fragmented reality.
So while time is frozen for her, Phoenix
Moves quickly, discreetly, takes a syringe, draws a small blood sample from her shoulder, hands it straight to Ollie for analysis.
And then it restarts time. Does he heal the spot?
He does. With a small puff of a flame, the tiny wound is instantly healed. Then time snaps back to normal.
Does Anastasia notice anything?
Only strange feeling that something just happened. A fleeting sense of weirdness, but she has no idea what Phoenix just did.
That's incredible. His power, his control, it's immense.
And the source makes a point to clarify. Phoenix's time fracture was a controlled event, not a random anomaly. This isn't some wild power surge. It's precise, deliberate. Shows a level of mastery far beyond what even the tower seems capable of.
Why do it secretly, though? Why not just ask her, explain what he thinks he found?
Good question. I think it stems from caution, maybe even fear. This is unbelievable news. What if he's wrong? Raising her hopes or causing her more distress, maybe he feels he needs absolute certainty first.
A protective instinct, rooted in past loss, perhaps. He doesn't want to risk hurting her, even with the truth, until he knows for sure.
That seems likely. He needs Ollie's scientific confirmation before he drops this bombshell on her life.
So Ollie gets the sample, heads off to run the tests.
And while she's doing that, the emotional tension in the penthouse just skyrockets. It simmers beneath every interaction.
Anastasia must be going crazy with curiosity by now.
Totally. She keeps pressing Phoenix and Ollie for answers. She knows something huge just happened. She asks, does this have anything to do with the holograms on Alia's desk? She can feel the shift.
And her frustration peaks when she says, "Stop talking about me like I'm not here."
Yeah, she senses they're discussing her, making decisions about her, without her. It builds incredible dramatic tension for us, the listeners, too. We know what the secret is, but she doesn't. We're waiting for the reveal right alongside her.
And amidst all this high-stakes genetic drama, Rachel's in the background dealing with a smoking kitchen.
Yeah, dinner preparation's gone slightly wrong. It's such a great grounding detail. Domestic chaos mirroring the simmering, emotional, potentially universe-shattering chaos happening just rooms away.
A perfect parallel. Life goes on, oven smoke, even when destiny is knocking at the door.
Exactly. But now, the scientific part is done. Ollie has the results. The moment of truth has arrived.
Leading us right into the monumental revelations of Chapter 19. The payoff.
Yeah.
All right, this is it. The moment we've been building towards. Chapter 19, Good or Bad News, delivers the conclusive revelation. Ollie has the results from Anastasia's blood sample.
And the results are staggering. Ollie's analysis confirms the uncanny similarities between Anastasia's DNA and that partial strand found tangled within Phoenix's.
Uncanny how? Like a close match.
More than a match. It's like two puzzle pieces clicking together. The source says the two partial strands combine holographically into a single, complete DNA structure. And this complete structure now resembled Phoenix's own complex DNA. They are, genetically speaking, two halves of a whole.
Wow. So it's confirmed she is the other half. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't an illusion.
It's biological fact within this narrative. Anastasia is Phoenix's lost love, his long-dead mate, Reborn. Her rebirth wasn't an accident. The source explicitly states it was the universe pulling two halves back together. Destiny. encoded in DNA.
That is profound. And what happens to Anastasia physically when this connection is confirmed? Does she change?
The change begins almost immediately, reflected in the hologram first, then starting within her. The life-size hologram transforms, with a second pair of red wings growing out from the back, his hair becoming darker and longer. A more powerful form emerges.
Wings, like Phoenix. And internal changes too.
Yes, profound internal changes. Her muscles firmed up, becoming denser, holding more power but keeping her feminine look. Her lungs, or what used to be lungs, their cellular structure changes, becoming smaller, perhaps more efficient.
And her brain?
Her brain structure increased greatly in complexity, and her eyes developed multiple new neural connections to her brain.
Multiple neural connections. What could that even mean? Enhanced senses, telepathy, accessing those buried memories.
The potential is huge, isn't it? It hints at new, profound abilities unlocking within her. She's not just being restored, she's potentially evolving into something more. Phoenix is an equal, perhaps, or something entirely unique born from their combined essence.
It's mind-blowing. A fundamental re-engineering is happening inside her, and Ollie, the scientist, she's just observing this.
She is, though she notes her uncertainty about Phoenix's own genetic structure, still curious, still analyzing, even in this monumental moment. But the implications for Anastasia are undeniable. She's transforming.
How does Anastasia react when she sees this enhanced version of herself in the hologram?
Her reaction is delayed, almost shell-shocked, just a whispered. It perfectly captures the sheer disbelief, the overwhelming nature of this truth crashing down on her.
I can only imagine. And this revelation finally explains Phoenix, doesn't it? His centuries of, well, everything.
It shines a massive spotlight on his past. His long-standing emotional restraint, that pervasive grief we've sensed. It all clicks into place. The source reveals he never stopped grieving her. He lived in constant fear of losing her again, even before he consciously knew she was back.
That ancient sentence he mentioned, to walk this world without my memories, or ever finding love, giving love, or being loved, it suddenly makes heartbreaking sense.
Exactly. His emotional withdrawal, his sometimes ruthless actions, they're all viewed now through the lens of this profound, prolonged grief and fear. He wasn't just detached, he was shattered, protecting the fragile hope he didn't even understand he carried within him.
It completely humanizes him, despite his immense power. So they have the truth. They're reunited, in a sense, but the memories aren't back, right? The connection isn't fully restored.
Right. The DNA match confirms identity, but not capability or memory. That's a crucial clarification. So while there might be some celebration, or at least stunned silence, a new, daunting challenge immediately arises. How do they restore Anastasia completely? How do they bridge that gap between genetic potential and actual conscious reconnection?
And Ollie has an idea. A risky one.
A very risky one. She cautiously suggests a drastic process.
Yeah.
Rebirthing. It involves, well, combining their ashes.
Their ashes, as in they'd have to die first.
That seems to be the implication. It sounds almost mythical, doesn't it? Blending science with something deeply spiritual, elemental. But Ollie, the meticulous scientist, admits she's not sure how it works.
What are her doubts?
He says, I'm not sure exactly how the rebirthing process goes, whether it can determine the difference between two different beings or not. Can the process handle combining two distinct consciousnesses, especially when one is fragmented? And she stresses the immense risk, particularly for Anastasia, calling it her first time.
Her first time, implying Phoenix has done this before. Perhaps how he survived whatever happened to him originally.
That's a strong possibility. But for Anastasia, it's uncharted, potentially fatal territory. It introduces incredibly high stakes. This isn't a guaranteed fix, it's a leap into the unknown, a literal trial by fire.
And Phoenix, how is he handling this suggestion? The potential to finally be whole again, but at such extreme risk.
He's clearly struggling.
Yeah.
The source mentions him intermittently fracturing out of the room, phasing out of reality briefly, and returning with increasingly redder eyes, eventually putting on sunglasses to hide them. He's suppressing immense emotional turmoil.
Trying to keep it together for her sake, maybe?
Perhaps. He even acknowledges his past, saying, I suppose I'll have to stop living in the past one of these days. It's just the dreams don't make it any easier. This rebirth might be the only way to truly move forward, but the cost.
The cost could be everything, and the ultimate choice rests with Anastasia. It's her life, her identity, her first potential death, and rebirth.
It all falls on her shoulders. After a night obviously marked by tears and turmoil processing this insane reality, she emerges the next morning.
How does she seem?
Transformed. Her eyes are still pink from crying, you can see the emotional toll. But she appears stronger now, determination on her face.
And she gives her answer.
She does. Clear and definitive. Let's do it.
Wow. Just like that.
She acknowledges the great risk, but she insists with incredible resolve. I can't continue to live this life if this isn't me. She sees this terrifying process as necessary, as one of the ways she is to achieve completeness, to become who she truly is or was meant to be.
That takes unbelievable courage, to face oblivion for the chance to be whole.
It really showcases her incredible growth. From confused newcomer to this determined central figure, actively choosing her own incredibly dangerous destiny. She's no longer just reacting, she's acting.
And Rachel's reaction to this decision.
It's subtle but speaks volumes. Shortly after Anastasia says, "Let's do it," the sound of a fire extinguisher is heard from the kitchen.
A fire extinguisher, like she set something on fire again out of shock or stress.
That's the implication. Even Rachel, the calm center, recognizes the sheer volatility and danger of what Anastasia just agreed to. It's a stark, almost darkly comedic reminder of the immense stakes.
It really underscores the danger. So Anastasia has made her choice to risk everything for the chance to reclaim her true self, her memories, her connection to Phoenix.
It sets the stage for the next major conflict, highlighting those powerful themes. Self-discovery, identity, the courage needed to pursue your truth, no matter how terrifying the path.
Their future, their identities, everything now hangs in the balance, waiting for this ultimate fiery transformation. What a cliffhanger.
So let's recap this incredible journey. We saw Phoenix return to the tower, confront a piece of his past, and retrieve Ali.
Ali, the self-created AI, who then makes this groundbreaking genetic discovery within Phoenix's own blood.
Then Anastasia, completely unaware, becomes the key, completing the holographic puzzle and revealing her true identity.
She's Phoenix's long-lost mate, Reborn, her essence literally encoded within him for centuries. An unbelievable revelation.
We finally understand Phoenix's deep-seated grief and fear, the source of his emotional walls.
And now they face this immense challenge, the rebirthing process. Highly risky, potentially fatal, but maybe the only way to restore Anastasia's memories and fully bridge the gap between them.
So this deep dive, it's not just about, cool powers and sci-fi concepts. It's digging into really powerful themes.
Themes of identity, destiny, what it truly means to be reborn, whether that's unlocking a hidden genetic code, facing down centuries of grief.
Or just taking that terrifying leap of faith to become who you feel you're truly meant to be, even if you don't fully understand it yet.
It really explores how our past, our connections can be literally written into our biology, just waiting for the right moment or the right person to bring it to light.
It makes you think about the nature of self, doesn't it? Are we just our memories? Or is there something deeper, something encoded, something faded that defines us? Is identity something you discover or something you have to fight to reclaim?
Heavy questions. And it leaves us and them right on the edge. As Phoenix and Anastasia stand on the precipice of this incredibly dangerous rebirth, here's something for you to consider.
If your deepest, most defining truth, maybe a lost part of yourself, or a connection you thought was gone forever, was encoded within you, just waiting for a catalyst, waiting for the universe to give you a sign.
Would you have the courage? Would you be willing to fracture time, face absolute uncertainty, maybe even risk destruction to pursue it, to become whole, no matter the cost?
Something to ponder.
Definitely something to ponder. Join us next time for another deep dive.
That concludes our journey through chapters 16 to 19. From a locked room beneath the tower to the bloodline revelations that shake the soul, one thing is now certain. This was never just chance. Love reborn, identities reclaimed, and the silence between hearts finally broken. But the path forward is far from clear. Join us next time as we press into the final chapters of Book 1, where fate waits and the flame never forgets. Until then, trust your instincts and follow the pull of the fire.